All right, checking out my 14th flight here. This flight was the same day as my most recent upload, my 13th flight.
Yeah.
And so this one was pretty relaxed, honestly. Nothing super eventful happens, and hopefully that's the hook that'll draw you in here. I'm really excited with this new camera angle that I'm working with.
Not doing a lot.
I think I'm going to try to set it up in a similar place. Let me know what you think about it. Air was pretty smooth at this point. Cruising out here, trying out the thicker gloves, seeing how that works. It was a little bit hot, honestly, with the puffy jacket in these gloves. And so I think moving forward, and a little bit of foreshadowing for my next video, which I've already recorded the audio over in the flight video of, I got my pod harness finally, and that is much warmer, and so to keep my body temp up, my extremities aren't getting as cold with that, and so I think this is the last time I'll be seeing these thick winter gloves, unless I'm flying above Whitney or something in like a couple of years when I finally get to that level. One thing I've been thinking about watching all these videos back every time I record is just looking at like a maps view, like Google Maps or Apple Maps, looking down, and in my head, always when I looked at those Maps apps, I was always like, oh, like it's kind of unrealistic how they draw the trees and like bushes and stuff. It looks kind of fake and like circly and like blobby. But looking at it now from the actual bird's eye perspective, it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of like spot on actually. Like maybe they do know what they're doing at those massive tech companies with GDPs larger than countries. So super cool to just kind of see that perspective, and even watching the video, like it's cool to see in person for sure, but even just watching the video back, like as a third-person observer, like maybe even if I didn't fly this flight, just seeing like the actual perspective of flying close to the ground. I mean, it's drone footage essentially, and I really like that. I find it like kind of calming in a way. I guess just kind of floating above stuff. And just watching the video, even that's why I really like enjoy doing these video overs, is because I get to rewatch these videos. I get to kind of see it again, take it all in without the stress and worries and adrenaline and fun of flying, and just kind of be a passenger and take it all in, which is awesome. So, I'll talk about this in my next video as well. But just write down how you doing during the day. Write down stuff and journal. It's cool to look back on this stuff and have a little bit of a log of how you felt. I'm actually recording this video weeks after this flight, and I wish I did it sooner, but it's sometimes hard to get that motivation up, and I've been super busy at work. So here we are now, coming out to the roundhouse. One thing I really like about this camera angle is this turn. It's like when I start turning here, I'm not doing horizon stabling, similar to what I'd usually do on the tail, and so you can actually see that the glider does turn quite a bit on that axis and get some decent bank going, even at my low flying level. This is my H2 level, not a crazy good thermaling pilot or anything like that, but it's pretty fun. Like, it's pretty sporty. You know, you're getting into some turns and having some fun, even on, you know, it's my 14th mountain flight, so I highly recommend if you've been thinking about hang gliding, anything like that. Little no hands, let them know it's good. Looks cool, as well as it's good to check like where you are relative to trim speed. So hands off the bar, you should basically, like if you think you're flying at trim speed and you take your hands off the bar, nothing should happen essentially. So trim speed is basically just if you hung your weight as an inert mass on the hang glider, steady level flight, no wind, no nothing. Like that is kind of like the neutral position for everything. All the forces are balanced, there's no control inputs. And so one way to check that is to just take your hands off for a sec and see how it feels. I mean, if you immediately start like pitching down or something, you were probably closer to a stall than you thought. If you pitch up, you were probably pulled in and going faster than you thought. And yeah, it's just kind of a fun little check of what this machine is actually doing as far as stability for itself. You kind of realize that you're kind of just a block of mass to it shifting around, and it doesn't really care what you're doing unless you move that block of mass around. So
not quite doing it though.
Kind of good to take that step back and look at that. So yeah, I'm cruising around here looking for thermal. Didn't find a ton. I'm not extremely low, but not like in like, oh yeah, I got time to do a million tries here.
No dropping.
And so basically that means that it's probably about time to get out of here pretty soon. And that's what I decided to do. So we can kind of see it from this perspective. I got a lot of gear on. I got the helmet. I got wraparound, actually mountain biking goggles. I mean, they're really similar to ski goggles though. Got the radio, got the puffy jacket, got the gloves. There's a lot of stuff to remember. And so, especially going up to the hill, you know, you're riding with other pilots. It's a lot, you know, like, ah, crap, like I'm leaving my car down here. I got to grab all my stuff. I can't really take like a backpack because then I'd have to fly down with it unless I know I'm going back up to the top. And even then, it's just like nice to have your stuff. And especially in this harness where I don't have a lot of internal space, you got to like really think about like exactly what you need, like, because you will be flying with it. It's like the most high, it's like flying on Spirit Airlines, you know? Like you can only bring like exactly what you need unless you want to pay the price. Spirit Airlines, it's money. Hang gliding, it's riding back up to the top after the flight to get your stuff out of someone's car, probably, and nothing you leave on the bottom.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Bend lower and bend fine. Everything's all good.
So yeah, just cruising out. See a car on Gibraltar down there. Super fun, curvy road. I was actually picking up my hang gliding pod harness like a week after this flight was recorded, and I had to drive up this at night, and it was like the foggiest road I've ever driven on. It was like less than 30 feet of visibility. High beams, it was like 5 feet of visibility. Absolutely terrifying. Wet roads. The road is no joke, but you get up to a really cool spot for hang gliding, paragliding, just taking in a good view. So if you're ever in Santa Barbara looking for something to do on a weekend, most likely, or a weekday that's really good flying conditions, if you know what those are. I don't really know, or I would tell you. I mean, I kind of know, but I'm not a pro. Check it out. Drive up Gibraltar Road. Go to, just type in like Eliminator hang gliding launch. You'll find it through the website of Santa Barbara Soaring Association. And you can just watch people take off. Like, it's just kind of happening. You don't have to pay for a ticket or nothing. We're just there hanging out. Pilots are super friendly. If you meet them on the ground, usually they'll answer any questions you have thought through just off the top of the head. What's the air smell like up there? Anything. Hit us up. And yeah, coming in for landing here, it's just kind of amazing how second nature this becomes so fast. So, like in this flight, I was kind of like, oh, like it's kind of boring, honestly. Like I'm just cruising out, doing the thing, and then looking at it again, I'm like, damn, like I was flying, like that was so cool. But it's like you do stuff enough times, and it just becomes your normal. And so, just really cherish those new experiences. And boom, look at that. A little bit of a nose over, but hit the cone pretty much exactly where I wanted. I'm kind of in lawnmower mode there. Next video dropping much sooner. Apologies for the late. That's my hang check. Trust me, I do it every time. Been working a bunch.
This grass is tough to judge.
Videos coming out more regularly, hopefully. Cheers.